Two really interesting things happened in this live coding session. First, I added a rule for the agentic AI to follow, but it suggested, can we add a non-deterministic check, a grep, to make sure that it's following the rule? And that seemed like a cool idea, to add non-deterministic guardrails around whatever it gets back, which is kind of the whole idea of doing TDD with AI in the first place. So that was one cool thing. The other cool thing is that ViewInspector, when it fails to find a view, it just sort of throws an error, and it's hard to see in Xcode where is the problem. So we extracted a helper that will identify the failing source line in tests. Instead of having to chase through essentially the call stack. So check it out. All right, Mudsharks here. Let's go. Welcome, folks. For folks who are watching after the fact, hey, I'm Mudshark. Welcome to my stream or my recording of it, whichever you are watching. And if you don't know me, my name is John Reed. I am a technical coach. I've also done process coaching. And my book, where to find me, depending on what you like to use. Look me up, connect with me. And let's just dive in. Mudshark, it's just you and me right now. Last time, started using Windsurf and discovered, because I hadn't paid for it, I get the free model, and the free model sucked. So I plopped down $15. My approach with subscription things that I don't know how often I want to use them, and I certainly don't want to keep getting charged for something if I'm not using it, is I subscribe to something and then I cancel immediately, right? And then I'll get the month I paid for, and it'll go away if I'm not using it. If I am using it, I'll buy another month. So that was the main thing last time. AI likes to add comments in the test. Next time, add a rule saying no comments. We ought to do that. Context. Sorry, Mudshark, I know this is all old hat. But for folks who are watching, we're doing multiple rounds of Mastermind. Trying to draw the empty guesses to show 10 empty rounds. Looks like we had a failing test for 2 rounds. I don't normally break down a failing test because that's just part of the process. And we were going to implement that. So that's where we are, but let's go into Windsurf. Rules. Let's see here. One thing I've become a little more greedy about as I learn about AI is that the nature of a conversation, a long-running chat, is that it doesn't keep track of anything. It has no state. All it does is basically package up the conversation as it gets longer and longer. And it keeps sending it back. And so that's one reason you can blow the context window, which I've only done once. But the advice I've seen from the AI companies that come and offer training in their stuff to try to entice us to use their tools at work is be pretty greedy about opening new conversations. So let's Yes, I think what it does is it starts possibly not sending the whole conversation back, but I think it might. Folks who actually can peek on the inside can tell me. It might just start reducing it to summaries, which might also explain why it loses its mind. So either it's sending the whole conversation and it's losing its mind because you're blowing its mind, or you're sending back a summary of the conversation, so you're not getting all the details. Either way, let's see. What do we want to do? We want to add a rule saying don't comment in tests. I'm not hopeful that this will do anything. I also find I have to poke the LLMs a fair amount to say, hey, remember the rules? And it's like, oh, rules? What rules? I'm just going to copy that and paste it in. Now, I paid $15. Last time we were using this free model, SWE1. I assume that means software, like entry-level software engineer. And I just told it, I forgot I had set it, it was still set there, and I, in order to warm up the tests, I told it, run the tests. Oh, that's something I want to show you. Where's the history? There we are. So I wanted to warm up the tests, and I thought I had to tell it, I have this memory that it had trouble finding the right destination or device. Yes. Yeah. And so I was going to give it these rules, which is what I use at work, to say, this is the destination. I also want you to pipe everything through XC Beautify so I don't see all the freaking details of the build, of Xcode build's output. But first, because I was using the free model, it went chugga, 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 chugga. I'm like, oh no, it's the free one. But it found something I'd forgotten about. Lo and behold, there is a script to run tests. Why? Because that's what I use on the build server. So there's no need, if you have a script set up, there's no need to get all fancy, right? There's no need for an MCP to communicate to Xcode. What's funny is that I then said, so I said, add a rule, and I'll help you add a rule. And I'm like, okay. I guess I don't need one. So I said, okay, I need to warm up the tests inside of here. I always run tests in Xcode before starting the stream so that they're all fresh and cached. But I said, run the tests using the script at the top level. And it did all this stuff, and it says, well, you're going to need all these things. I'm like, oh, man. No, I don't. It could have easily have checked that. So then I said, run them. And it said, okay, I'm going to do a change mode to make it executable. I'm like, no, it is executable, you dork. You didn't even check. But eventually it got it. So what are we doing now? We are creating a new conversation. And let's do this. So I also notice there is a tiered pricing system for models. This is new to me. The free one is free. There's a half, this one, which doesn't do a whole lot. I assume low reasoning. They don't want you to use it, but it uses half credits. Gemini 2.5, 1 credit Claude costs 2 credits. This is what I use at work, and I ran out. Let's try this for fun. And I have it set to agent mode, basically. Let's see what it says. I don't want it to update. No. Create a new rule. Don't change TDD Kent Beck. The main reason I don't want to change it is because I want to keep Kent's stuff as it is. It's interesting getting a chance to see thought. Oh, this is interesting. I didn't know this was here. Ooh, what the heck is all this? What is all that? Does it really need all that just to say, don't write comments in tests? And yet, that's what it thought. Or what it came up with. There's a bunch of stuff. But I didn't know about this thought stuff. It's like it goes through a stage, and then it comes up with an action. It's fascinating how people are starting to learn how to use these things effectively. Kent wrote about setting up different agents for different purposes, that he wanted one to be like the writer of code and another to be the critic of code. Or in particular, he wanted performance checking. And so he created a separate agent, and then they started to battle each other. And then what was funny is he said he created an agent to make code readable. Like, just don't come up with new code. Just really make it readable. And it did. He said it deleted all his code. And so, voila, it's more readable. I have heard other people say that they've had these agents just delete code, just like out and out. Well, I'm going to accept all this because I want to see if it works. It's way too much. For my taste. But let's let it make it. There it is. Oh. Now there's an interesting idea. Look at this. Would you like to add an automated check to fail if comments are present? Now that is a neat idea. Isn't it? It's like, why should we depend on something that is non-deterministic to make sure we don't have things that say arrange, act, assert? Huh. It sure feels like a whole bunch of gobbledygook, except that I have seen this in other rule sets before, saying this is an example, not allowed, arrange, act, assert. This new rule makes it clear to me that it's hard to get the AI to do the things you want. You can't just say, don't add comments in tests. It also needs to know why. Yeah, I don't get that. But I'm curious to see if it will do it. I mean, this is a surprise. I just thought it would make a new file with a thing saying don't add rules, which is what I would have done. And I'm not sure I want to say comments in tests are prohibited, but let's say it. Let's allow it. I don't like... I just still feel like it's too much. Am I overthinking it? Should I just let it do its thing? I probably should, shouldn't it? Yeah. Let me just accept this. I'm going to commit it by hand. Oh, I've got stuff that's already staged. Not staged, excuse me. This was our stuff in progress, but let me just sneakily add this in. Whoop. There we go. Just put that up there. All right. Well, we'll see what it does. Now, what do you think about this? Would you like me to add an automated check to fail? Like, what would that be? A pre-commit hook? I like the idea, like I said, that we have a non-deterministic thing checking, or rather, we have a deterministic thing checking non-deterministic output. That's kind of the whole idea behind doing TDD for with AI. Yes. Check in any file named as does not have, I'm going to be real specific here. I do find it interesting that it uses Bill Wake's 3A naming. My colleagues continue to add comments to their tests. And I think it is a habit they have because they're used to writing tests that are way too long where you can't see what's what. And I've been trying to teach them you don't need the comments. Oh no. I should add those. Gah, you are right. We don't trust it. So I've been trying to teach them, look, you don't need the comments if you structure your test simply and then use blank lines. Oh, our example doesn't have blank lines. And they continue to do it out of habit. I think I should probably lay off of trying to get them to stop because that's not helping them. Instead, really focus on making their tests simpler. Like ideally, a test has 3 lines, sometimes 2, sometimes 1. Yes. What will run this check? I don't want it to. I don't want it to touch GitHub. This is for local checks on tests you run. We could change the run tests script. I know that still affects the workflow, but it it's not changing the workflow definitions, which I really didn't want. Okay, so the whole thinking thing is fascinating. It would be interesting to go back and study it. Okay, just roughly reading over the grep, it looks good. Look at this. Scan any file named first it adds comments. Scan any file named test.swift in case you can't already read that. For forbidden BDD style comments. I mean, we don't need these. So one thing that is nice about the windsurf model of these diffs, I was using GitHub, agentic GitHub last night, and I noticed it does a pretty decent job, but you don't get the diff view. You just get your IDE. So I'm editing its changes on the fly. Do I need to say this? I don't want to have an echo. I just want it to be silent. If it errors, that's fine. With that, let's accept this file and give this a whirl. It's fast. That's good. What's it thinking? It's doing a whole lot. What? It's trying to make this script work for across any if I reject this, will I get back what we had before? How do I undo? I don't care that it works on any flavor of Unix. We're only running on one. Can I undo? Yeah, I'll skip that. But if I reject all, I'm afraid it's going to toss out. Stop. Aw. Oh no, it kept it. Good. So the reject, phew, was like saying, don't do that. Keep it. All right. Let's just have it run tests. Should be pretty fast since it was already warmed up. Oh, I have a failing test. It's going to freak out. Stop, 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 stop. Don't get ahead of me. What are these colors? I don't know what this blue means, what this blue and red means. What this gray means. There are some mysteries here. Okay, I'm going to take this. Just run tests. Now, I'm still kind of blown away, and let's do a retro quick. Run tests now checks for forbidden. Does pre-check. Because it might be other things that we want to pre-check. I want to make some notes here. It's suggested, and I'm still blown away that it suggested it. That's kind of interesting. It's a very good idea, and it's a pattern. I'm just calling it junk. It won't mind, will it? Okay. So, there's one more thing I wanted to do, and that is in the rule. I saw, where are my rules? No comments and tests. Using code, not comments. Separate, arrange, act, assert sections with blank lines. Again, I think it's way overblown to add a different thing saying it's okay to use your own assertion. This is another thing I do a lot at work, is because the test code tends to be can be somewhat gnarly. I'm very greedy about extracting helpers. So that the test just reads the way it does. Let's do that. Four blank lines between a... Okay. Yeah, ideally. Or even, it's not just multiple asserts. Those don't usually bother me a whole lot. What really bothers me is to find out if this is true, I need to dig into this thing, which does this thing, which calls this thing, which searches the subviews to see if this is present. All valid, but it's like, those are details. Yeah. With that, let's see if we can't finally get back to what we want, which is failing test for 2 rounds. Oh, Xcode. Xcode is still here. This is the test that we wrote last time, and it kind of makes me wrinkle my nose now, mainly because it's doing a view with this, looking at the ID that's used to have distinct IDs between rows so that SwiftUI doesn't freak out, and happens to have these names. And that seems like super implementation detail, but the test does work. So maybe I should just live with it. Let's just watch it fail here. It fails. Again, with ViewInspector, when it fails to find something, it doesn't say so very clearly. I wonder if that's something I can improve. It says it more clearly here. If you click here, we end up inside of ViewInspector where it throws. So it's a confusing flow. You just have to get used to it for now. Well, good question. The problem is that it's throwing an error. And so where this is failing at this level is inside the try. And that's the... So, and because this doesn't know anything about the test code, it can't report like even like, on line such and so. Hmm. Wonder if there's a way to improve this by creating our own helper. Like, what if we add a layer in front of ViewInspector that says, oh, we got an error, report it on this line. Can we try that? I mean, it is, whoops. Yeah, that's the right color. Let's stick with this for a second. And let me actually revert this change entirely. We'll get there. So now we should have just the one change we're in. And I want to improve this because people still use Xcode. What would it look like? What are the other finds? There are a lot of view with IDs, which puzzles me, but that is what it is. Color of guess. So for example, this one is our own helper. It's doing a find. Okay. Maybe I can try with something like this. Because this can be broken into multiple statements. Let's try it here. I'm gonna disable this for now. Right, so we should end up green. Right. Something. We ought to be able to make this better. So this is add disabled test. Correct. I'll tell you one thing I do not like about Xcode beta. People have pointed out that the behaviors tab, well, probably everything in here is all redone. And it looks potentially cleaner. It looks more like shortcuts do. But it's missing this ability to say when the test succeeds, run this script. You can add a script. You can add multiple scripts, but you can't turn them on and off. You can only add them and delete them. So when I'm like working on something else and I don't want my half TCR workflow, I'd have to delete it and then add it back. It's awful. Anyway, let's now look at find. Anything that is doing find view with accessibility. In fact, let's see how many there are. 6. Not bad. Not too many. Extend view inspector. Inspect try. Ooh, these are good ideas. Okay, this session is turning into something different, and I like that. I'm afraid to let AI take a crack at it, but maybe I should. But I just don't think it would have the wherewithal. Let's imagine what it's going to be instead. So here's a find right in a test. That's a good candidate. It's not in a helper. And what I would like instead is I think we still need tries at this level because view inspector gets a view back, and then this essentially casts it. And if that fails, then it throws. So this kind of stuff goes deep, but doing the finds, let's just imagine for a second. We how to do it. So if we break this into 2 steps, inspect try. Oh yeah. Foo inspect try inspect and find. Something like that. Oh, but inspect itself. How does it inspect itself? Must be an extension on view. Let's find out. Oh, none of these have inspect. Let's see where it is. So it's an extension on view. So can I do something like that? What did I call it? Inspect and find. What's it screaming about here? Maybe it'll go away as we clean this up. This would be an accessibility identifier. And let's have it do all that. So this would call that the return type is different, isn't it? I'm just going to try to make it work, and then we'll make it better. Find returns. Isn't that the same type? It looks like it. Okay, let's import SwiftUI Core. Let's not make it non-public. All right. Does not build. Let me turn off. Let me turn this off for a second. So it runs. What's this? So if I now say check and find, inspect and find check button X, we should get the same usual behavior that we don't like. Correct. So now, can this do something better? Okay, so do catch, old school. First thing we're going to need is, no, let's just do catch. Do catch This is GitHub Copilot doing that. It needs to return something. Rethrow. Okay. Does it do that? I thought there was a way to rethrow in Swift. Yes, that's what I want now. There. Error being the implicit there. So this needs to return. Okay. So now when this fails, what will we see? I expect a failure right there. Now, if I add my test helper to get the file and line of the call site, then I can add that to XCT fail. And now it should report it up here. Well, look at that. Neither one of these is going off into ViewInspector land. Now, let's examine the output. And make it good. Could not find view with accessibility edit identifier, blah. And I don't think we need the search did not find a match. And yet, maybe if ViewInspector throws a different error, something else, maybe it would be important to have like a clue that it failed for some other bizarre reason. So let's see, failed to find view. I'm not sure I like failed to find view. Let's do that. Well, and this is long. Well, well, well. Can't this now become inlined? I'm going to inline this into here. Oh. And now you can see the difference between the two, the original. This should still fail. And if I change it back to check button X, it should pass. It already said failed in the image. I think that is what we get from XCT fail. Oh, so you're saying that's couldn't. Yeah. couldn't find view with accessibility identifier. Let's make it good again. Gosh, this is exciting. Should it have quotes? Check button X. And what do you think about the name inspect and find? Inspect, I think it's still helpful to indicate that we're going off into ViewInspector, or we are about to. Accessibility, oh, let's try it. This is the other thing that folks at work don't understand is see your tests fail and really work on the failure message. I mean, here, clearly, if you're making a helper, definitely. But you should always see what... should always see what it looks like, how it reads. Yeah, I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot. Yes. I think I might want quotes. Let's try it just to see. My eyes have to do less parsing to immediately see there's the identifier. So I think that's a win. This is awesome. Wow. I want to put this in everywhere and publish this. This is terrific. For now, let's put this back. Wrong. Do it here. So this is a refactoring. Extract, inspect, and find helper. And that is it. We are out of time. I don't know where everyone else was, Mudshark. The regulars, I mean. It could be that folks are... I know that at my work, a lot of people... In Europe, people take summer vacations in the summer. I think in the US, people with kids take summer vacations during the summer. People without kids, I think, wait for wait for that to die down and then take time off. I'm just observing a lot of time off. So this, wow. Wow. We still have to come back here. I'm just going to set that back. Wow. Let's see. Do inspect and find. Super excited about that. Hot diggity dang. I don't know if ViewInspector would accept this. People, there are so many different ways to find views that I think it's not general enough. If I were the maintainer, I'd be like, it would need the full long name, inspect and find with accessibility identifier or something like that. But for me, terrific win. All right. I'm excited. This is great. We didn't make any progress on the actual game. Instead, we learned about more about interacting with windsurf and deterministic adding deterministic bounds, guardrails around AI, and then finding this helper. Terrific. I am so pleased. Mudshark, thank you so much. Hey, other folks who have just passed through, thanks for coming through. Folks who are watching after the fact, subscribe, follow, click things, give it a thumbs up, add a comment, add your thoughts. I'd love to hear from people. All right. This was great. Thank you, and I will find the right button and see you next week. Take care.